Expert Mode was introduced in the Terraria 1.3 update for PC, PS4, and the upcoming Xbox One mobile and Switch versions of Terraria. Enemies in this mode get double hit points and double damage, in addition to some bosses having more deadly AI and attack modes. That said, this mode can be very rewarding if you learn a few tricks. How's it going, crew? This is Happy Days, and today we're looking at 30 awesome tips you must know to help to defeat Terraria's Expert Mode. When starting your Expert Mode world, quickly harvest lots of wood and craft lots of wooden broadswords and bows until you get high quality modifiers on them. As there's plenty of wood, you can afford to try lots of times, and it can give you a massive early boost. On the subject of starting strong, you can easily upgrade your wooden arrows to fire arrows using gel, and to frostburn arrows using ice torches. Did you know only 23 enemies in the entire game are immune to frostburn? Try it out! The Demolitionist sells grenades for only 75 copper each, and they deal a whopping 60 throwing damage. They are incredibly useful for finishing off early Expert Mode bosses, especially the Eye of Cthulhu that rapidly charges right at you. While you're almost guaranteed to die in the process, if you make your way to the end of the world with a new character and YOLO into the ocean, you can attempt to grab as much loot as possible from ocean chests before you drown. If you are lucky enough to snag a recall potion along the way, you can recall at the last second to save yourself from certain doom. The King Slime rope hack still works. Simply build a rope ladder about 30 blocks high off the ground and shoot at it with arrows, preferably frostburn ones. It takes a while, but a brand new character can actually kill King Slime this way. You know those monster banners you get for killing 50 of each enemy? They are massively powered up in Expert Mode. Banners allow you to deal double damage to enemies and halve melee damage done to your character. Using these during the Slime Rain event can be a lifesaver for newer characters. Eat up! In Expert Mode, life regeneration is half as effective unless you have the well-fed buff active. For an easy way to get lots of food, buy pumpkin seeds off the Dryad and plant them around your base. Pumpkin pie gives you the well-fed buff for 45 minutes. Value! Talking about regen, honey is one of the best regenerative items in the game. Simply place 2 buckets in a 1x2 hole near any boss arena and run through it as you battle. The honey buff lasts for 30 seconds and restores over a single hit point a second. It also stacks with campfires and heart lanterns. The Shield of Cthulhu, the expert only drop from the Eye of Cthulhu, is one of the most powerful accessories in the game in my opinion. It allows you to instantly dash on the ground or in mid-air by double tapping left or right. It can also negate enemy melee damage if you charge into them at the right moment. This even works on expert Duke Fishror. On the topic of movement items, dodging is extremely important in Expert Mode as some enemies deal upwards of 200 damage per hit and beyond. Why defend against damage when you can avoid it completely? I would prioritize getting items like the Shield of Cthulhu, boots, Cloud in a Bottle, and any type of gem hook. Some weapons and armors that are considered overpowered in normal mode can actually help you survive in Expert Mode. An example of this is the Meteor Armor Space Gun combo. To attempt to get this powerful equipment early, simply smash a Shadow Orb or Crimson Heart, and at midnight in your world you have a 50% chance that a meteorite will land. You can then farm that meteorite ore and craft all the equipment that you need. While we're on the topic, you can freely smash as many Shadow Orbs and Crimson Hearts as a new character to collect the loot, as long as you don't mind dying every 3 orbs or hearts to the bosses they spawn. The MOLTEN armor, a strong pre-hard mode armor set, can easily be acquired very early on if you fish for a REAVER shark in the ocean and then carefully make your way to the underworld and mine up the Hellstone ore there. I recommend setting a spawn point as you will easily die in 1 to 2 hits from most enemies down in the underworld if you go with a brand new character. An oldie but a goodie, make sure to check the dungeon in your world for an easy water bolt. This weapon can make easy work of the first few bosses if you create a square box arena to bounce the water bolts around in. Although generally an optional item for a lot of players, creating the ANKH shield is generally worth it in Expert Mode as enemy debuffs last twice as long on your character and have a higher chance of occurring. Some debuffs can now last up to 10 minutes. Debuffs like slow or broken armor can almost be an instant death sentence in Expert Mode, so the ANKH shield can be a real lifesaver. Did you know, rare items are a lot more common in Expert Mode, especially the ANKH charm components, which are twice as likely to drop from enemies. The slime staff is also slightly more common, but it's still crazy rare at 7,000 to 1 drop chance. SKELETRON can be an insanely difficult boss for players new to expert mode. I recommend having 2 layers of platforms about 20 blocks apart near the dungeon, and using a grappling hook and the Shield of Cthulhu to give you plenty of mobility during the battle. If you do get caught by the spinning head attack, you can try and grapple a platform to desperately try and escape. Good luck! In normal mode, certain events have restrictions placed on them so they don't spawn when the character isn't ready. For example, Slime Rain won't happen until your character has 140 hit points and at least 8 defense. But in expert mode, it can happen at any time. It can be a great idea to set up a basic arena around your base early on, in case things get a little bit out of hand. Your defense statistic is actually more effective in expert mode, giving you a higher damage reduction, so stacking armor and warding accessories can help. But remember, enemies also deal double damage, so dodging attacks is still your best way to go. The Wall of Flesh drops the amazing Demon Heart consumable, granting you a 6th accessory slot in expert mode worlds. This is an incredible advantage and frees up an accessory slot to use an item like the Worm Scarf or Shark Tooth Necklace. The expert mode Celestial Pillars are brutal. You need to defeat 150 enemies and they deal insane amounts of damage. Luckily, the Shiny Stone, an expert-only item from Golem, is a quick way to massively heal back up with a 40 hit point per second heal on the boundaries of each pillar zone. Retreat, heal up, and get back in there. A simple tip, but one that can get you lots of loot. In expert mode, regular pots have tons more items in them. This can be a great way to stock up on the basics early on in your adventure. The pots in the underworld can regularly drop some high-level potions like Heart Reach, so it's definitely worth your time to smash them all. Be careful, the developers have reduced the power of life-stealing items in expert mode. The Vampire Knives and Spectre Armor's Healing Hood will heal you for less. Couple this with the increased enemy damage, and you may just want to skip them altogether and focus on dealing more damage yourself. The Hive Pack, an expert-only item from the Queen Bee, boosts the power of all bee-related items by occasionally spawning more powerful bees. A great strategy is to farm several Queen Bees and stock up on Bee Nades, the Beekeeper, and the Bee's Knees to unleash Bee Fury on Skeletron. These will serve you well right up until the Wall of Flesh, and Bee Nades are very useful against it. The Shrimpy Truffle, an expert-only item from Duke Fishror, is one of the most powerful mounts in the entire game. It gains incredible speed and boosts your damage when it touches water or if your remaining health is under 50%. Some players like to add water to their arenas to take advantage of the extra speed and damage. Whilst the Royal Gel, the expert-only item from the King Slime, is kinda generally useless, it is incredibly useful in the underworld as the lava slimes actually spawn lava upon death in expert mode. This creates complete havoc when you're trying to make a Wall of Flesh arena, as the lava from the slimes will destroy all your campfires, torches, and platforms. You'll have to rebuild them. It's so useful. The AMAROK, a hard mode yo-yo, has a 1 in 300 chance to drop from any enemy in the snow biome. This yo-yo deals great damage and can inflict the Frostburn debuff. Simply farming ice slimes on the surface can net you this yo-yo, or you can venture deep underground and battle the tougher enemies. Talking about early hard mode weapons, collect 15 Souls of Light to make a Key of Light. When put inside an empty chest, it will spawn a hallowed mimic, which allows you to easily farm them. One of its items, the DAEDALUS STORMBOW, is one of the most powerful bows in the entire game and can be acquired right after the Wall of Flesh. Arm it with holy arrows and you'll be completely unstoppable. Fighting the Destroyer first is generally advised, as the Souls of Might it drops can be used to craft the MEGASHARK. This gun is extremely powerful and can be loaded with insane ammunition like the armor shredding Ichor bullets or the homing Chlorophyte bullets. In my opinion, you will likely keep this gun until the Vortex Beta becomes available in the endgame, as most players skip the chain gun for this now. Once you start hard mode, you can tech up to titanium or adamantite armor without fighting any of the mech bosses. It's generally advised for you to take the time and power up, especially if your world has titanium, as the set bonus this armor allows you to completely avoid damage every 30 seconds with the Shadow Dodge ability. This means you can avoid as much as 1 to 200 damage from the mech bosses. This is an insane buff, I love it. Remember guys, that expert mode can initially be difficult when you first try it, but once you get used to the increased difficulty, you'll never look back and you'll become a better Terraria player in the process. Well, there you have it, folks. 30 of my personal best tips for completely smashing up expert mode in the Terraria 1.3 update. If you're looking for some tips for the expert Moonlord, I've created a whole video dedicated to it, which you can find up in this corner, including arena tips, recommended equipment, and battle strategies. What tips do you have for surviving expert mode in Terraria 1.3? I'd love to hear them in the comments below, and I'd be especially happy if you surprise me with some tips I haven't heard before. Smash that like button if you enjoyed this video, and consider subscribing to our channel for heaps of awesome Terraria content. If you're still looking for something to watch today, why not check out one of these two videos? And here's the most important part, as always, you'll stay happy, and I'll see you soon. This is Happy Days signing out. See ya!